Welcome to the Let's Talk Events podcast. Let's take a look at some of the events and activities happening in July here in Oshkosh. I'm Andy Radig from Oshkosh Media, and joining me is Kathy Snell, the Special Events Coordinator for the City of Oshkosh. Kathy, welcome, and how has the early summer been going for you?
Thanks, Andy. It's been pretty busy.
Yeah, I'm sure this is probably your Super Bowl right now, everything going on.
Very true.
Yeah, well, why don't we just jump right in? I know that one thing that's been talked about quite a bit is July 4th, the fact that the fireworks show, the Festival Foods fireworks show is actually being launched from a new location this year. And if you can tell us a little bit about what's going on with the show.
Sure. As people are already aware, the Festival Foods fireworks show continues to be sponsored by Festival Foods. However, we do have a new vendor who takes care of all the fireworks for us, all the launching, setup, teardown. That organization changed this year based on some retirements from our previous vendors. And so this year we're working with a new group, which gave us the opportunity to determine what was our best way to start setting these up. It was taking a very long time with the Monkey Island setup before. And so there were barges that had to be brought in and lots of other equipment. This way, having it out at Ames Point this year will just make it a little less cumbersome and a lot less time commitment from the contractors to be able to get in there and set up. They will, however, have to close down Ames Point on July 3rd for that setup, and it will be closed then through July 5th.
Okay, all right. And that is a great location because it's safe, it's isolated, people aren't necessarily around there. So it's a great spot. Not all that far from Monkey Island where it used to be.
Yeah, and I think people will find that there's also some really great optimal viewing areas just in the north end of that park now rather than being on the south end. We are continuing to allow boats in and out of the bay. However, there is going to be some buoys out there about 600 and 700 feet off of Ames Point to the west and the east. That's going to be prepared as the fallout zone for fireworks coming down out of the sky. So we will have Winnebago County Sheriff's Department out there patrolling that area, making sure that that's a safe area for people and making sure the boaters don't get too close to that launch area.
Okay, perfect. That way you can enjoy it from the land, from a boat, whatever works out the best for you. That'll be a great spot to view the fireworks from. And then, of course, there's a lot more going on at the park in addition to fireworks that day.
Yeah, absolutely. We encourage people to come out early. We do have food trucks. We're going to be setting up 6 different locations. We're calling them food courts, in which we'll have food trucks brought in from anywhere from the north end of the park over by Ames Point all the way south of the Irving entrance into the park. So there'll be 6 food court areas, which will consist of several food truck vendors, additional portalets, that more so I think than what we've had in the past out there. Hopefully that can help out. And those food trucks will be ready to serve at 3 p.m. I just want to also add that the Oshkosh Parks Department will also be selling some small snacks and beverages out of the REIT's concession stands. That starts at 4 p.m. and those proceeds help benefit the Oshkosh Parks Department.
Okay, and REIT's, that's the softball diamond?
Correct,
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, over there kind of in that area across from the Menominee School. All right, and then as far as the fireworks display itself, for the Festival Foods fireworks display, what time does that begin?
That will begin at dusk. So as soon as it's dark enough, they will start lighting off the fireworks, launching them, and so forth.
Okay, and I know the last few years, unfortunately, we've had some kind of rough weather on July 4th. Always seems to happen that way. What if that happens again this year? When can we expect fireworks?
Yeah, it's been standard practice for the City of Oshkosh to always try to hold the fireworks on the 4th of July. If not, that rain day will always be July 5th.
Okay, all right. So if there is an issue on July 4th, then we can just go back the next day and enjoy the Festival Foods fireworks show. I just wanted to note also that there is a diagram, a map of this whole area where those food courts are and the area where the fireworks will be launched from. That is found in the Hot Topics section on the city's website. So if you go to the city's website, which is oshkoshwi.gov, and you look at hot topics, one of those scrolling things on there, there's a link to that diagram. So folks can check that out if they actually, if they're visual people like I am, then they can see exactly what it looks like.
Yeah, I think that's a great opportunity for people to just have a good idea of what's going on out there in advance of the actual fireworks. So if there's a special food truck that you're interested in, we actually have that out there on the map. Please also keep in mind Oaks Trail is also going to be closed off. There will be no parking available in there. That will become one of our food courts as well. We'll have an ambulance station down there in case of an emergency. And that diagram then also has some starred areas, which are the optimal viewing areas that we felt were going to be some really great viewing places for the public.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Yeah, like you mentioned, I was actually intrigued to look at the bottom of that diagram and see all the food truck listings so I could kind of find my favorite ones. So.
Yeah, they kind of try and spread them out so that we don't have the same kind of vendors next to each other.
Right.
So it might be a great opportunity for somebody to get out on there and actually plan their evening.
Right. And I was intrigued by some of the names of some of them as well. So I think there's a few things there I definitely need to check out and see what they've got cooking.
I agree. We have some really good ones throughout the city.
Yeah, okay, fantastic. Well, we're looking forward to the 4th of July and the Festival Foods Fireworks Show. All right, well, in addition to that, we also have a lot of different events. Some of these are going on downtown by Main Street, and I know that we have some music events.
Yeah, the Main Street, the Downtown Business Improvement District has been hosting a Wednesday Music on Main concert series for the past several years. That is continuing throughout the month of July and the rest of the summer. That again is down in Opera House Square. Those times start each week at 5:30 p.m. Just a little plug though, please remember that this is in a park and park ordinances should be adhered to.
Okay, all right. Is that in the what they call the DORA area, the designated outdoor refreshment area?
Yes, it is. So you
Okay.
are during those times you are welcome to go out and grab a bite to eat or a drink out, from one of the participating locations from downtown, and then carry that over to the Music on Main concert if you wish to do so. If you're looking to find out which businesses participate in the DORA, feel free to check out the Downtown Business Improvement District's website.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that sounds good. And so Music on Main, again, Wednesdays, and that starts each week at 5:30 p.m. All right, well, I know another great thing that we've been enjoying in Oshkosh is Brews by the Waterside, formerly known as Brews on the Bay, but this time it's Brews by the Waterside, and we've already had one of those, and or one or two, and I know that it's been sponsored by the Parks Department, and it's a great event.
Yeah, we had to do a little name change this year because it wasn't Brews on the Bay, just in Miller's Bay anymore. And so last year, due to construction, the Parks Department had to move that event around over to the Rainbow Memorial Park. And so the feedback that we got from moving it and being in a different location was phenomenal. However, we also had people contacting us and saying how much they really missed having that Miller's Bay kind of atmosphere. And so we actually decided to add them up, and every other time we host them each month, one's going to be at Menominee Park and one's going to be over at Rainbow Memorial Park. Mm-hmm. So I think we're just kind of getting into both types of neighborhoods, different sides of the city, and everybody can enjoy it close to home.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and Rainbow Memorial Park, there's a lot to offer there. There's walking trails and different things. I know some neighbors of mine actually walk from their home along the trail, and so it's a great thing for them. And then also down by Menominee Park, again, that's a beautiful location there. So really, it's the best of both worlds. And what do we have coming up for dates and for music?
Sure. July 9th at Menominee Park, we're going to have the Plastic Knives. That will be the band for that evening. July 30th date, we'll be hosting at Rainbow Memorial Park with Jetpack Stereo as the band. Those concerts, regardless of where they're hosted, all begin at 5 p.m. and end at 9 p.m.
Okay, and again, food trucks are available, and the live music, and of course the star of the show kind of is the craft brews that are available from local breweries there. So great event, and I believe there might be some games and things for kids too.
Yeah, they'll set up some different games. Lots of times it's just kind of off to the side, and we have some games out there. So we really try to still make it a family event, even though it's a beer garden. So we invite everybody out, bring your families, enjoy the games, the food, and of course the live music.
Okay, perfect. Sounds great. All right, then we have another event that has been actually going on for a long time in the city of Oshkosh, and that's Waterfest. And I know that I've attended one of those this year already, and it's always a great time. And those happen to be most Thursdays.
They are. This in July, you're going to see a couple of missed dates because we've got some really busy weeks throughout the month of July. So the Thursday concerts are going to be July 10th, 17th, and 31st. We will not have Waterfest the week of the 4th and also the week of EAA AirVenture.
Yeah, I think that's been standard practice in the past as well. But I know that waterfest.org is the website with all the details about what bands are playing and the timing and so forth of each one. But again, those gates open at the Leach Amphitheater, 5:45 p.m. Each of those Thursdays.
Yeah, and people can still go out and get tickets. This is not one of those things that you have to worry about sell out and buy your tickets early. Tickets can always be purchased on the Waterfest website as well for future events.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and I think they used to have where you could arrive earlier and maybe the discount tickets were available. I'm not sure, but that information would be available on the website for sure if that's the case.
Yeah, they also do a really good job of letting you know kind of what you can bring in and what you can't bring in as well. So that's a great location to find information.
Yeah, all right, wonderful. Well then, another popular event in Oshkosh is Life Fest, and that's been going on for a number of years as well.
Yeah, boy, we've got a lot of music festivals going on, don't we?
Yes, quite a few.
Life Fest will be hosted July 10th through the 13th out at Sunnyview Expo Center. Those gates open daily at 8 a.m. There'll be live music and other family activities throughout the weekend.
Yeah, and that draws people from all around. I hear people from, even central Wisconsin or Milwaukee area that come here for that. So it really is quite a popular thing.
Yeah, Life Fest has grown incredibly, and in fact, they also started a Life Fest concert down south as well now. So they are very busy and do a really great job with their attendees.
Sure. Again, that's at Sunnyview Expo Center, which is kind of on the far north side of Oshkosh, July 10th through 13th for Life Fest. Okay, then we have the Park Dance on July 11th, and I'm not quite as familiar with this one.
Park Dance has been around for many years. It actually started as a celebration of one of the classes of one of the high schools, if I'm not mistaken. And so they found a sponsor and worked with Peace Lutheran Church every year. This is hosted at South Park, very similar to a Food Truck Friday, but on a smaller scale. So they've got food, they've got live music. People can come out and enjoy just the South Park atmosphere. Lots of opportunity for kids and families to be out in that park. Kids playing on the playground, the inclusive park, and then play a little basketball, a little pickleball. Mm-hmm. Maybe if it's super hot, bring your swimsuits and go through the sprinklers. So South Park is just a great place for these types of events to be hosted.
Sure. And again, we're talking about things that happen all over the city in different neighborhoods and different spots. So South Park gets some love there too with the Park Dance on July 11th. Looking forward to that one. All right, then we have the Hispano Fest, which is the next day, July 12th.
This will be located at the Leach Amphitheater for the first time ever. So this is a group that has come to us and requested to reserve the Leach Amphitheater this year for this festival. The gates will open at 2 p.m. with performances on stage from 2 to 5. They'll have authentic food and non-food items for sale, different vendor booths, and then they'll have a live concert beginning at 5 p.m. This is kind of exciting. It's a first year for a new festival at that facility, and we're looking forward to seeing how that goes.
Yeah, well, it sounds very interesting. It sounds like there will be some great food available and some wonderful music. So again, at the Leach Amphitheater, there's always something going on that's new and fun. So looking forward to Hispano Fest, which is July 12th at the Leach Amphitheater.
Yeah, it's truly great to see some of these new festivals coming in, and we all have a different music taste, right? We've all follow our own different bands and different genres of music. So I think it's really fun to see a variety out there.
Mm-hmm. And different cultural events too. So,
absolutely.
You know, we're kind of a melting pot, and it's great to have all these different cultural events happen. So it's wonderful to see. All right, then Oshkosh would not be an event location without some fishing tournaments and events.
Of course.
And we have the, I believe it's the AIM Weekend Walleye Series.
Yeah, so AIM actually stands for the Angler's Insight Magazine, and they sponsor and host this walleye series and others throughout the year. This year, once again, they'll be returning to Menominee Park on July 13th. These tournaments are always what they call a CPR, and that's a catch, picture, release. So while there are no official weigh-ins, the family and friends are always invited to come out and check out the launch and the return of the anglers throughout the day in Millers Bay.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and so that is coming up on July 13th. And are there anything that people should be aware of in terms of logistics of using the park or roads that might be extra busy that day?
No, actually, I mean, the parking obviously will be a little bit full with boats and trailers. However, they don't have a big setup for this tournament, so no food trucks, no things like that. However, because it is a park, people can bring a cooler, come out, sit, enjoy. Like I said, come out, look for that launch and return. It's actually really cool to be out there super early in the morning. You see the sun rising over the lake. It's actually a beautiful thing. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And, you know, people have many different options of things to do. If fishing isn't quite your thing on July 13th, you have another option. There's Fair on the Green. That's the same day.
Absolutely, and this is very similar to the Festival of Spring. If you recall, Festival of Spring was hosted last month over at the Oshkosh Paint Arts Center. This setup and event is very similar. However, this event is hosted on a Sunday, and we continue to support them by closing off Congress Avenue and from Algoma Boulevard to Elmwood Avenue. The event begins and ends at 8 a.m. It starts and ends at 4 p.m.
It really has quite a bit to offer, different exhibitors and vendors, over 200 exhibitors of original arts, fine crafts, plants, and garden supplies. And then they also have some entertainment and some food available as well.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, especially when we're doing a full road closure, please, be aware of those closures in and around those events, and drive careful to avoid those areas if you possibly can.
Sure. I know the parking does get a little bit tight in that area, and it's mostly a residential neighborhood. So just take care and drive slow. And just watch out for pedestrians in that area on July 13th. But it is a wonderful event, and we'll hope for good weather for all of these,
For all of them, yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, then we also have boating is another great thing that happens in Oshkosh. We have the Extreme Regatta, and that is July 14th and 15th.
Yeah, these are a little unique because as we talk about boating, many times people forget sailboating.
Right.
And so this is actually the Extreme Regatta is a sailboat race. And so this is the 21st annual X-Boat Extreme Regatta hosted here in Oshkosh, July 14th and 15th. They will launch out of Menominee Park and return there as well. The 2-day event starts late on Monday morning. The one thing with sailing, though, is has to be great weather.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Perfect winds, everything needs to line up accordingly. Unlike the fishing tournaments, I've seen them go out in some pretty rough weather. So this is a little bit different.
Right. Yeah, especially with sailboats, you can't have extreme wind, and I suppose you need some wind.
Exactly.
So
they don't want it too calm, but not too rough either.
Right. So really a great opportunity to maybe head down to Menominee Park and watch those sailboats. It sounds like it'd be kind of neat to see. All right, again, that is July 14th and 15th, the Extreme Regatta hosted by the Oshkosh Yacht Club. All right, then we have Live at the Leach, and that is coming up on July 15th. And I know that the Parks Department staff have been busy getting this concert series together.
Yeah, so this is a concert series that used to be hosted a little bit more frequently. However, what the Parks Department has been able to do is by doing one of these each month, they've had the better opportunity to allow for bigger bands to come in. And so our Tuesday night concerts are pretty well attended. I want to say the Glam Band last month, I think we had over 1,000 people attending that.
Great.
So it's a great turnout. And it's free. This is a free family concert, family-friendly concert. So bring out your family. The live music will be provided by American Platinum Band this July 15th.
Yeah, and these are great bands that come to this too.
They are.
Really a lot of fun. Glam Band, as you mentioned, was there, and I believe Road Trip is coming up for another one. And so American Platinum is on July 15th. And again, the gates open at 5:30 p.m. Music starts at 6. And what else can we enjoy at the Live at the Leach?
Yeah, generally they'll have food trucks out there. And again, the Oshkosh Parks Department has staff and volunteers that work out of the beverage, selling beverages out of the concession stand. All of those proceeds, again, benefiting the Oshkosh Parks and the opportunity to continue to providing these free or nominal fee type events. It's great to see the number of people who come out for these. No tickets have to be purchased.
Okay.
All you're responsible for paying for is your food and drink, should you choose to buy that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, that sounds like a great budget-friendly event to go to.
Yeah.
So again, that's the Live at the Leach. The next free family concert is coming up on July 15th. All right, well, the Leach not only hosts music events, but they also host something called Movie Night at the Leach, and that is July 18th.
Yeah, this is another free family-friendly event sponsored by the Oshkosh, well, not sponsored by, hosted by the Oshkosh Parks Department. Let me quickly rephrase that because we could not do this without all of the sponsors from our local businesses throughout the community. It's just a great opportunity, again, for the Parks Department to put on these events, partner with our local businesses, and have the opportunity to show these free movies on once a month on Friday evenings. This particular evening, they will be watching the movie Wish, and the gates there are open at 6:30 p.m. Again, there's food trucks, bounce houses, face painting, all kinds of free activities for families to come out and enjoy, with the movie starting then there at dusk.
Okay, excellent. That's the Movie Night at the Leach on July 18th. All right, and then also on July 18th, we have the Outdoor Flea Market, and this is over on Bowen Street, I believe.
Yeah, this is a new flea market that came about this year. The Outdoor Flea Market there is hosted on Bowen Street Market at 2837 Bowen Street. I had not ever heard of that before, so very interested to see new things popping up again, like we mentioned before, like at the Leach. This is just kind of a new outdoor little flea market that happens once a month. We'll be talking about this again when we record next month too.
Sure. Yeah, so it's a new event. Again, that market is from 4 to 8 p.m. and that is at 2837 Bowen Street. So that must be on the further north end of Bowen Street.
It is. It's pretty far out there.
Okay, all right. But looking forward to that flea market on July 18th. All right. Well, and then another huge event that I don't know if anybody has ever heard of it. It's called EAA Air Venture. What's this little thing about?
This wraps up our July, right? This is the last week of July 21st through the July 27th. This is the largest fly-in in the world, making Whitman Regional Airport the busiest airport in the world for that entire week. If you haven't been there, if you haven't heard of it, I don't know where you've been.
I think the whole state has heard about it. It's on the news everywhere.
Yeah, it's very fun. When I go out of state and I talk about Oshkosh, people are like, "Oh, the air show."
The air show.
Yes,
yeah.
of course. So last year we actually had over 650,000 visitors that went to that event, with thousands camping and staying throughout the community. This is not something that just benefits or has people coming to the fly-in itself, but people are here throughout the entire community for that entire week. So we have a very busy place, so we do, just remind people, please be patient.
Yeah.
People coming here are not necessarily from our area, and I know sometimes that can be a bit of a challenge for people to they don't know what streets are one ways or where.
Right.
Sometimes the roundabouts get people.
Yeah, take care in the roundabouts for sure. Yeah, exercise some patience.
Yeah, everybody be patient and go. And I encourage people, even if you've never been and you live in our community, go out and have a chance to go out there. I've been myself, and I have to say, though I've not always been an airplane enthusiast or air enthusiast, It really is something to see. Very impressed by the way that it continues to grow and functions. So it's a wonderful event for people to go out and enjoy.
I agree. I had guests come and visit last year, and we went out to AirVenture, and my guests were amazed at the scope and the extent of what is out there. There's so much to do and see, and honestly, especially if you have an interest in aviation, you could just get lost in things, and you could be there the whole week and not see it all.
I was just going to say, I think people continue to come back year after year. Not only do some of the things change up, but I truly don't think you can get the scope of all of it in one visit.
Right.
Those gates, though, do open daily at 7 a.m. So if you are driving in daily, be sure to give yourself adequate time. Coming and going from the facilities can be very busy.
Yeah.
It might take you a while to get in or out. So just give yourself adequate time if you're planning to be on site.
Yep. And Wednesday and Saturday tend to be the busiest days. And I know that they have the nighttime air show on those days as well. So definitely busy days there. And then I know that they have a drone show.
Yeah, so on those Wednesdays and Saturday evenings, those air shows start at 8 o'clock. So they really start around that time because they do incorporate a lot of aerobatics, and some of them have some fireworks, and of course, you get the I'm trying to remember, wall of flames.
I've seen it. It's huge.
It is.
Yeah.
And the simulation of dropping bombs, and it's just a really, really cool show. That starts at 8 p.m. and immediately following both of those shows in the evening, they do a drone show. And that drone show actually features 100 drones. So it's a really impressive sight to see.
Yeah, it's a great show. Yeah, and even just the air shows that are not the evening ones are amazing, just to watch the skills of the aerobatic pilots, and I believe that they have 2 of the Goodyear blimps coming this year, so that's really going to be interesting to see.
Yeah,
so,
people love to see that stuff.
Yeah, I always like it when some of those planes kind of fly over different parts of the city, so you can actually kind of check some of it out that way.
Yeah.
And actually, I have a neighbor who volunteers at EAA AirVenture, so I know there's a lot of involvement from the community. It's not just like an island unto itself. It's EAA involves the community in many different ways, but volunteering is definitely another way to get involved. And I know that volunteers are needed for many of these events. Is that right?
It is, and as much as I want to say go volunteer with all these other events, I also have to say come and volunteer for the events out at the Parks Department. We truly do appreciate the help and support that we get from our community. We have some amazing volunteers but we can't rely on the same ones all the time. So we're really hoping to broaden that array of volunteers moving forward, hoping we can get a good list of volunteers together that we can reach out to whenever we have upcoming events.
All right. Well, definitely a very worthwhile experience to volunteer for the Parks Department and these other organizations. But they definitely need some additional assistance. And as you mentioned, the same people can't be doing the same thing over all the time. It's great to have some additional folks come in to lend some support.
Yeah, I think the nicest part about working alongside the Parks Department staff, I've been in the concession stands on nights when I work with the volunteers, and I'll tell you, I've really met some incredible people, and I know that through volunteering, the volunteers have also met some incredible people that they make friends and they do things outside of the volunteering, and it's just a great opportunity to meet new people and experience new things while really, like you mentioned, with all of these, really supporting some great nonprofits in our community who benefit greatly from the events that are hosted. We truly, none of these organizations can do what they do without volunteers.
Right. If somebody is interested in volunteering for the Parks Department, how can they get involved in that?
They can actually go onto the Parks website, and there is a wanting to volunteer button, so they can just kind of scroll down the page and look for volunteer opportunities.
Okay, so just visit oshkoshwi.gov and navigate to the Parks Department, and then you can find the information from there. So that's a great opportunity.
And that's probably true for all of these events that we talked about too. If you're interested in some of these events, you can truly just Google the event itself, and there are lots of volunteer opportunities on all of these web pages.
Sure. All right. And if people do want a little bit more information, maybe they missed something that we talked about, or they just want more about it, or learn about additional events, what is a good resource for them to learn about the events going on in Oshkosh?
I think one of the greatest resources we have for getting information to people about events here is actually with our Discover Oshkosh website. So visit oshkosh.com. They have just not only the events that we talked about today, but there's also events on there for private organizations that are hosting things. I think the Oshkosh Arena posts their, some of their things out there. So I think the Discover Oshkosh site really just gives a good sampling of all of the events happening throughout the city.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Yeah, I've used it for a resource myself. Sometimes I think that there's something going on, but I always check there for sure just to see exactly what's going on. So
yeah, and the great part about this, and I'll give them a little plug with that too, if you yourself are hosting an event, you can also put your own events up right on their site. So you create your login, you set up your event, and they put it right up on the page. So it's just a great opportunity for a little bit of advertising for your events.
Okay, I did not know that. See, people have to listen to this podcast to learn these things.
Right.
So that's a great little insight there. Appreciate that. And then I know also Parks Department has been very busy creating a wonderful activity guide, and there is also a link on the city's website on the hot topics. There's a direct link to it there, in addition to on the Parks Department webpage. So it's a great resource.
Yeah, absolutely. The Park Activity Guide shares all of the events that happen throughout the year. So if you're looking ahead to see about the Zulaween Boo this year, the Activity Guide has all the information already in there, so people can plan ahead if they'd like to. We also have information on renting shelters and, of course, volunteering.
Right. A lot of things going on over at the Pollock Community Water Park. That's another
Absolutely.
venue. Different things and other things going on around Oshkosh. So
yeah, that even includes some. We have kids camps that happen at the pool and also at the Children's Amusement Center over at Menominee Park. So yeah, that activity guide provides all of the facilities and the activities that are going on.
Perfect. All right, well, definitely check that out. I know I use it as a resource myself, and I would be remiss if we didn't make mention of it because there's so much good information in it. So anything else that you'd like to share? We've got a very busy June and July going on, and I'm just kind of like, wow, there's a lot here.
Yeah, and I think what you'll see is as we move into the next month, you're going to see even more things happening. We've got we've been able to look over some new applications for some other new events that are coming. So I'll be excited to share that with you in upcoming episodes.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that for sure. And Kathy, again, thanks for sharing all of your knowledge and information on the podcast here. It's really a lot going on, and really appreciate all your insights into all of this. So for Let's Talk Events, I'm Andy Radig.
And I'm Kathy Snell.
Thanks for joining us this month. Join us again next month for Let's Talk Events.